Hello, everybody. My name is Bruce Montgomery, and this is my colleague, Tracy Priest.
Hello, everyone.
And we're with The Road to Retail. On our podcast, Tracy and I hope to offer insights and ideas for how emerging small and challenger CPG, consumer packaged goods, brands can establish and grow their business.
Bruce and I have been working in CPG commercial operations for over 30 years, working on brands of all sizes. By commercial operations, we mean all aspects involved in establishing and growing brands across channels and platforms. On our show, we bring on guests that are brand founders, leaders, investors, as well as all kinds of suppliers to these emerging brands that are subject matter experts to share their unique insights with the audience.
To keep up with the show, please follow the Road to Retail podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leave us a review and consider sharing the show with a friend or colleague that may benefit from the content. You can also check out our website at www.road2retail.com and follow The Road to Retail on LinkedIn. Let's get to today's episode. Since 1994, the Emerson Group has been the trusted partner to brands, retailers, suppliers, and the CPG industry. Their people are CPG professionals and omni-channel commerce experts. They have built a fully integrated infrastructure with a suite of services and capabilities focused on launching and accelerating the growth of health, wellness, and beauty brands. Powered by their proprietary Omega AI data technology platform, which utilizes a brand's insights and data analytics to create a brand's go-to-market strategy, optimize their omni-channel distribution, build marketing plans, and optimize supply chain. The Emerson Group infrastructure and capabilities serve brands in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. To learn more, visit their website at www.emersongroup.com. Looking to scale or launch your supplement or skincare brand? Eagle Labs Incorporated, based in Florida, offers full-service NSF-certified contract manufacturing of capsules, tablets, powders, liquids, gummies, and lotions. All of their manufacturing takes place in the USA. From R&D and formulation to packaging and fulfillment, Eagle Labs provides scalable, high-quality production that meets FDA and NSF standards. To learn more, contact Michael Law, Chief Commercial Officer at Eagle Labs at michael.law@eaglelabsinc.com, EAGLELABSINC, Michael Law, eaglelabs.com, or text him at 203-242-6417. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us on today's episode of The Road to Retail. We have a great episode coming up. Even though I sent him a different time and location, there he is, Tracy Priest. Tracy, how are you today, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, Bruce. Great to see you. We've spent a lot of time together this week. It's been fantastic, and we've got a fantastic guest today. And I think our audience is really going to learn a lot today.
So why don't you give a quick intro to our guest, and then let's get rolling.
Absolutely. So on the show today, we have Harley Sutton, and Harley is the CEO and founder of Thanks Naturals. So welcome, Harley, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to kind of dive in about your background and some of the things that you guys are doing at Thanks Naturals. So first of all, though, why don't you give us a little intro, a little background on you and how you got to be CEO and founder of Thanks Naturals?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to start by happy Friday, you guys. And thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here today and I'm really grateful. So I appreciate it. But yeah, as you kindly said, I am the founder and CEO of Thanks Naturals. We're an all natural beauty and wellness brand, all about spreading gratitude, hence the name. But a bit about my background, what got me into the industry is I'm a third generation wellness entrepreneur. So my grandmother was, my mom is and was. We work together every day now in the wellness industry. And I went off to get my JD MBA from USC, so I'm an attorney as well, attorney turned wellness entrepreneur. But I love it every single day what I do, and I'm glad I didn't go down that corporate law ladder.
You
That's awesome.
smile way too much to be a lawyer.
That's what they told me in law school too. That's why I tried entrepreneurship.
Well, that's good. And the world needs entrepreneurs more than lawyers. Tracy, did I say that out loud? Can we edit that later?
You did, but I do have to say one more thing before we jump in, and that is go Trojans, because my daughter also is a USC graduate. So there
Right
you go.
on.
Well, as a Notre Dame guy, I cannot endorse this conversation. So
I
we're gonna move along. So Harley, looking at your website and looking at and getting to know your brand a little bit from afar, in any competitive category, differentiation is really critical. And you guys have done a really great job. The packaging is beautiful, but what gap did you guys see in the market, and how do you differentiate Thanks Naturals from the other brands that are in this space and the adjacencies?
Yeah, the self-care industry, I like to say I'm in the self-care industry. It's something that I've always been passionate about, but specifically in a natural way. Luckily we're in a time where information is so attainable and people are really getting down to the nitty-gritty about their ingredients finally. I'm not the only one that's been like that. So I had the idea, like I said, I've always been influenced by the wellness industry, the self-care industry, but I kind of found that self-care nowadays is portrayed as this insane luxury you only do a couple of times a year, whether it's like a crazy massage or whatever you do to indulge in self-care. And I really found a gap in the market where I wanted to make self-care fun, attainable, and everyday again. I feel like the makeup industry does a great job about it, marketing, I don't know if this is your guys' type of content, but I used to watch like Sephora hauls all day. And I wanted a similar thing in the self-care industry. So all of our products are meant to make you feel good. And the reason why we try to make ourselves different is implementing that emphasis on gratitude, because we always say self-care starts with taking care of yourself or first and foremost. So my whole product development side is pretty much just saying, how can I make sure people are feeling good in the little moments and not just these big moments of indulgent self-care, right? It's all in the little moments and taking care of yourself.
love that. That's great. So maybe talk to our audience a little bit about the trend of merging beauty, and you kind of just mentioned it right now with wellness. So there's really a blurring of the lines quite a bit these days in products. So talk to us a
Absolutely.
little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, already, if you gone are the days that going to Sephora are for a red lipstick. Now if you go to Sephora, there's wellness gummies, there's perfumes, there's candles, there's bath products. It's become a shower, shampoo, conditioners even. And us at Thinks Naturals, we really try to push the envelope in blurring those two lines. I think that now feeling good from the inside is just as important as looking good on the outside with traditional cosmetic beauty. And I love the mix. I mean, I hope one day that wellness and beauty are almost interchangeable.
Mm. So talk to us a little bit, let's dive in a little deeper on that. So talk to us about the types of products then that are under the Thanks Naturals, because I think you have a couple of brands. So maybe talk to us a little bit about those brands and what they do.
Yeah, so Thanks Naturals, we're very, very vast in our product line. We have everything from muscle freeze roll-ons, which are amazing for those aches, pains, and tension moments. We have massage oils, but we even go down to glow gummies, which have Icelandic collagen, and sleep gummies. We kind of find that shopping by the benefit and creating products by the benefit is it works for us, and it's something that not everyone does. So a lot of clients come to us and have problems with sleep. So we make sleep gummies. We also have a sleep magnesium roll-on, and we have a bath fizz that's great to unwind with. Or a lot of our clients love to glow, right? It kind of blurs into that beauty side of things. So we have glow gummies, we have glow bombs, glow lotions. We kind of do it all. I find that shopping by benefit really, really works for our customer because they kind of want to go all in on whatever they're shopping for.
Absolutely. So after the podcast, can you ship Bruce some of the bath bombs? He needs a glow bath bomb.
I have a whole box of glow stuff for Bruce, and I have a whole box of aches, pains, and tension stuff too for you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be great. I'm not sure what to do with a bath bomb, but what the hell? We'll give it a shot. So thank you in advance.
Of course.
So Harley, you guys looking and getting to know your brand a little bit. You guys have a very dynamic website, and as you said, you have a very broad array of products. How are you guys, if at all, thinking about taking your business into the brick and mortar retail environment versus the DTC online world?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are currently in retail, and it's been a really fun experience kind of piecemealing us into across a lot of industries. We're in some grocery stores across the US. One really notable thing that just happened to us recently is our muscle freeze roll-on, which I don't have in front of me, but we just replaced Icy Hot in 50 airports across US and Canada. And that shows just the growing demand of quote unquote wellness products across all industries. We're in everything from travel shops to beauty shops to grocery. I'm actually going to New York next week to go TikTok live from Pop-Up Grocer, which is a grocery store we've been partnering with for a while in New York. So we kind of find there's a demand across all ages, across all demographics for the wellness. And I think with social media and just online in general, it's because people are more attainable and more exposed to the importance of natural ingredients and awareness of taking care of themselves.
Well, as someone who used to compete with Icy Hot, I thank you for knocking them out of some distribution. Something I was unsuccessful doing. So let me ask another question here as we talk about quote unquote traditional brick and mortar retail. So you're in some stores. It's a learning experience for everyone, whether you've been in CPG 10 minutes or 25 years. If as you think about the growth of your business, if and when you are ready to consider quote unquote the big boys of brick and mortar, what will you be looking for in that first bigger retailer? Like what characteristics, traits are you going to are you I'm sure as a lawyer, you probably have your facts handy. This is what I need to see before I go forward. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, of course, all of the general stuff. We want all of our boxes ticked of like specific locations of where we're carried, because we can be in beauty, but we can also kind of be in like wellness. That's a big conversation always. But I think the most topical conversation, at least for us, is how symbiotically we can work with the team. In a day and age where everyone can see a product on the shelf and then go home and buy it on Amazon, it's really important to strategize together in a collaborative effort on how we're going to make sure bringing in foot traffic to that aisle specifically and kind of creating the why are we buying it here and not in Amazon or any other alternative TikTok shop, whatever it is. And so what we've done so far with our retailers is kind of do that collaborative effort. So whenever I work with a retailer, I try to get not only in touch with the actual buyer I'm speaking to, but even the social media team, the marketing team. I think making it a whole A to Z process creates a lot more success and for both parties, right? So that's been really important for us. I, to this day, travel across the country. Like I said, I'm doing with Pop-Up Grocer. I go TikTok live from a lot of our retailers because I bring in foot traffic. I invite influencers. We hang out and we live sell and we show, hey, you guys, if you're in the area, come shop it here, right? How fun is this experience? So I think it's really, really important as we're in an age of convenience. The most topical thing for me in these conversations is how are we going to make sure people are buying it here and not just the convenience from their computer at home?
Very interesting. Yeah. At the event Tracy referenced at the top of the show at Chippa, and then we also had this gentleman on, Mike Lyons from Market Performance Group. The amount of things going on TikTok just blows my mind. What you're able to do, what you're able to still do, quote unquote, for free versus some of the other platforms. And then the fact that they've turned TikTok Shop into a legit place where brands such as yourself can monetize business, not just inform and drive some awareness. It's been very eye-opening for me. So congratulations on figuring out that that's a great avenue for your brand and your target users.
Yeah, we go live
Tracy?
8 to 12 hours a day on TikTok.
We're going to
8
get
to
into
12
that.
hours
Hold
a
that.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold that thought, Harley. We're going to get to that because
I am totally fascinated by that, and we learned a lot, like Bruce said, and we'll get into that in a minute. But give some advice to to our small emerging brand audience who's thinking about going into brick and mortar retail. What things do they really need to think about before they make that leap? Things like the cost of doing business and high margins and slotting and all that. I mean, that it costs money and it's expensive. So maybe some advice from, one founder to some of the other founders that are listening today about
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
what do they really need to think about, Harley? Because you've obviously made the jump here. So maybe share some key learnings.
Absolutely. And it's a great question to ask too. I actually had this conversation recently because a lot of people think when you get on the shelves, finally, that's like your made it moment. But that's also on the other half of the coin, right? When all the work really begins, it's great for the ego, but not always great for the bank account, right? As a business. I
Right.
think that being on shelves is fantastic and it's great, especially for marketing, right? You're just naturally getting exposed to a whole new demographic. But I think it's something, my biggest advice would be to intentionally capitalize on those moments as much as possible. You can't just put it on the shelves and kick your feet back. Kind of like what I was even saying a moment before is that's kind of where the real work begins. You have to figure out how it's going to actually retail. You have to figure out how to leverage that into newer opportunities as well. You just got in store X. How do I leverage that to get into store Y? And also just making the most of the opportunity, right? Shelf space is just a great opportunity. And I think whether it's helping you getting your brand awareness out there or even making sure people then find you on D2C and become lifelong customers, that's the tricky part. So I think some people glamorize being in retail. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but it is also kind of a stepping stone to grow to even bigger and bigger as a brand.
Yeah, Bruce was
Well, you
smiling because we talk about this all the time on the show, that getting on the shelf is really, like you said, is when the hard work starts. You have to fight every day to be there. And and it's all about velocity and growing the category
Yeah,
at that
early
retail.
on, Harley, we did a survey of about 15 buyers from some of the country's largest retailers. And one of them told us, building off of your comments there, he said he accepted an emerging a small brand, and the people were so excited. He said they were literally high-fiving in the conference room, and he said, "Listen, congratulations, but the work actually starts right now."
Yeah.
And he said, I hated to be the wet blanket. They were so happy. He's like, but to your point, there is no such thing as put your feet up and just watch the money roll in. There's a million balls in the air, and any one of them, some of them are just annoying if they hit the ground, and others are fatal. The problem is they're not labeled. So you have to keep jumping after each of them. Okay, Harley. So under Thanks Natural, you have a couple of brands. You've got a lot of SKUs. Your website is just, I don't even know what the proper phrase. It's just colorfully delightful. And I am colorblind, so when I notice, it must be really good. So that I salute you on that. But how do you manage multiple brands when you're still, obviously your idea has gained traction. So hopefully you're not at the every day could be the end of the world stage. Although the really good entrepreneurs treat every day that it could still be, keeps you sharp. But how do you manage all these different brands?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think being a third generation entrepreneur, it's something that just is natural to me. I've never been one. I mean, I started Thanks Naturals while I was in my JD and my MBA. I was doing all three. So I've just been one that loves learning. And I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be constantly curious and constantly learning. And that's definitely something of mine. That's my biggest thing is I'm always looking once I've mastered something, I'm on to the next. And I think having all these skills allows in multiple brands to be repeatable, right? Once I put in 100 hours learning TikTok or 100 hours building relationships with X retailer, it's kind of a playbook that I can move forward and multiply amongst our other brands as well.
So in any business, there's sort of the Pareto 80-20. So I'm sure that when you look at your SKUs, even though they're all your children and you love them, there's the workhorses that just have to deliver. Do you use some of your SKUs to follow up on your point about always learning? Do you use some of your SKUs as maybe a bit of a roll of the dice and say, let's just see how this goes over here? Or are all of them pushed through a lot more Harley Sutton filters before you even do anything?
No, I mean, what's the beauty about my role as well is that we actually manufacture our own products. We have a huge facility in Nevada. We even have we manufacture all of our own brands products. We even private label and white label for other brands as well. So experimenting is our favorite thing, and we have had so many pleasant surprises. I always say I try to create products that are solutions to a problem, not just great ideas. And we hear a lot from our customers of different ideas that they have that I would have never even thought of. But I love trying it and giving it a try. I mean, when I started Thanks Naturals, you kind of have to always be evolving and always be ready on your toes to change because whatever you think is the great next big hitter may not be. And even I think we're actually having our third birthday on Monday. But when I think of when I started Thanks 3 years ago, we started as just a gift boxing company. So it was boxes with all of the same products, but they were intended to be for preset gift boxes. And we ended up launching these amazing gift boxes, but everyone called us back saying, hey, can I just buy these products individually? And now our gift boxes completely are, we still offer them on our website and stuff, but they are completely secondary to all of our individual products. So you just kind of have to listen to the environment you're in, listen to your customers, and it's kind of a dance of still being a leader, not taking everyone's word as truth, but also being receptive and listening to your audience.
Awesome. I love the fact that you said that we meet the needs of the customer, and that puts a thought in my mind. Have you done any consumer research?
Yes.
You have. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we actually partnered with a great company who would send before we launched slash going into our launch, and we still do this every time we're thinking about a new product that samples out just in complete people that are just interested in wellness and whatever, samples out our product to hundreds of people at a time, and they give us raw feedback from specific comments to whether they'd buy again. They're also personal characteristics, so whether they're a man in their 30s or a woman in their 60s, and their specific hobbies, and it really guides our insight. But now, and I know we'll get more into this later, I mean, the best consumer research I've had is going TikTok live and talking to my customers directly. I talk to thousands of customers a day just via that platform and raw organic. They tell me when, where, how, why they use it, who they share it with. Whether they're a mom who's running around with their kids. I've had so many pleasant surprises of personal anecdotes of how our customers use our products that I would have never even thought of. One comes to mind, even our muscle freeze roll on, like I said, we replaced Icy Hot. I'm sure you can imagine how it's used all over the body for usually pre and post activity. I had clients starting to tell me on social media that they love it and it completely cures their migraines. That is just something, as someone who doesn't suffer from migraines too often, I would have never thought of. And so I think putting yourself out there and making sure you're hearing from how people use it is you'll hear anecdotes in ways that you never would have thought of. And now that's a huge marketing point for us. Like it was a great thing for us to hear.
That's
Awesome.
fantastic. All right, Tracy, let the genie out of the bottle here with this
I
next
know.
topic.
So let's talk about TikTok. But first, are there any other marketing vehicles you use besides TikTok? And then talk to us about TikTok and how you use TikTok. And again, we just came from a conference, which it was a very big topic of conversation. I was amazed, and so was Bruce, about the number of people that are on TikTok, how many people are actually buying. And then the scariest part, I'll just throw this in here, was how much time per day the average TikTok user spends on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
it's kind of frightening. So anyway,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But to your first question, any other marketing things? I mean, of course we still do PR, but I think marketing has really changed, for at least for brands like this, where influencers used to be such an integral part. From 5 to 10 years ago, we actually send PR to our most loyal customers. And it's been a really fun experience that way because we're sending it to people who already love our products. And then, of course, Rob, across all social platforms and trade shows, all that stuff to get your name out there, I think is still definitely apparent. But TikTok has quickly become our number one way to market ourselves for sure.
So sorry, Trace, the stat I just pulled out from the notes from our meeting, Harley, 170 million users of TikTok are on the platform 56 minutes a day.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at
That's
all.
bananas, man.
That
I have
is not.
customers that'll stay on all 12 hours of our live.
So talk to us about that. What is it? Dissect that for our audience that may not be even on TikTok yet with their brand. So tell us, what's your day look like on TikTok?
Absolutely. So I guess even just broader, everyone knows what TikTok is. It's a social media platform. But one of the things that makes it different is, TikTok's traditionally known and all social media is traditionally known as pre-recorded content, right?
Right.
Just like this will go on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. It's all pre-recorded and fixated and cut. On TikTok, what one of the beautiful features is it allows you to go live. So essentially, you can go from any place, anywhere, phone, computer, wherever. You are truly live streaming. TikTok takes that a step further, and not only can you live stream, you can actually add products as a shop. So imagine a banner right here showing you our mindful meal. And while I'm talking about it, you can click right here and hit purchase. It's totally like a modern day QVC if you guys are familiar with QVC.
Oh
For me,
yeah.
it kind of reminds me of when I was younger, I used to go to the Nordstrom makeup section and I have a personal shopper helping me pick what color looks nice on me or what scents. Now, ever since onboarding onto TikTok, I can talk to my customers directly, or someone from our team can talk to our customers directly about our products, what we think would be best for them. If I have a client who's vegan, I'll show them that almost all our products are vegan and that this one would be great. If I have a client who has trouble sleeping, I'll grab our sleep gummies, pin them below, and if they seem like they might purchase, I'll be like, you know what, I'll throw in an extra 20% off. And you can do this all from the platform. It's really, really amazing. And if you're dedicated and put in the effort in, I mean, I get thousands of viewers a day that come in and hang out. And there's a lot of different techniques to do it. Some are super salesy, some are super fun. We like to make ours, I always say, kind of like a FaceTime first. So because we're on for so many hours a day and we're all about spreading gratitude and positivity, and our community is really based in just authenticity. So we kind of say our motto at our TikTok studio is FaceTime first. So just treat it like this. We're all hanging out, talking shop. And then if a client happens to mention, hey, by the way, I'm having trouble sleeping, then I'll pin the sleep gummies and talk about it. But we try to be a fun, almost a hangout spot that our clients can come to and meet the founder, meet people from our team directly, talk about the products, share how they use the products. And then they even talk to each other about sharing tips and tricks of, hey, when I bring mine in my lunchbox for work because I'm hunched over my computer all day and I need some good relief. So it's really, really cool. And I truly think that live selling is going to be the future.
I think that is so cool. So what comes to mind is, one is you're authentic, two is you're passionate, and three is you're connecting with your consumers like no other time in history that I can think of.
Mhm.
And that connectivity is translating into sales.
Oh, totally. And brick and mortar was already struggling. And I think now the fact that I can connect with a Midwest mom who loves our product, but also a New York Pilates girl who also loves it before and after Pilates, and we can all talk together at the same time. It's truly unbelievable. It's unprecedented. And we are all in on it. Like I was sharing, we go live right now from 8 to 12 hours a day on TikTok. My goal, though, by the end of 2026, and we're already a little over a third there, is to have our live available 24/7. So that's my goal by the end of 2026. I want a 24/7 platform that our clients can come in, hang out, ask questions, talk, and share how they love Thinks Naturals.
Wow. I have to ask, how many followers do you have on TikTok?
Thousands, yeah.
I figured as much. I figured as much. Bruce, I know your mind is blown there about what Harley just said. Do you have any comment?
I wouldn't know where to start on TikTok between everything we've been learning over the last 4 months. From when we first had Mike Lyons on, and some of the brands Tracy and I work with, kidding aside, they've educated us somewhat on TikTok. I think 2 years ago, TikTok Shop literally was a drop in the ocean. It was like $2 billion. Last year, I think it was 25, and I don't know if that's total or just in consumer health and wellness. Who cares? That percentage increase is unbelievable, and it's even bigger now. And another stat we just heard was even though TikTok's growing fantastically, the metric that they put up for Amazon was 450 billion. Why is that important? TikTok still has a long runway. So,
Oh,
people like you that have really figured out not only what the current recipe for success is, but you have an active, inquisitive mind. So you won't just sit around going, "I'm going to make the donuts the exact same way for the next 10 years." It's that's not going to work. So again, I like learning, and I'm getting force fed on TikTok, and I enjoy it. Now, I'm not sure. Tracy and I, we put up a few dance videos. They didn't get many clicks, but we might need to, do a licensing deal with Thanks Naturals and
I saw
say,
that one. I think I flagged it as not interested.
no, no, I think you should say use our video and say, if you buy Thanks Naturals, you won't end up like these guys. So
There you
that
go.
could work. Tracy, save us. Let's talk
Yes,
manufacturing,
Amos.
even though Harley said she already has her own place.
Yes. So talk to us about being self-manufactured, which you've mentioned, and the decision to do that versus using, a contract manufacturer, which is fairly typical, in this wellness space. So talk to us about the decision you made to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my mom and I have been manufacturing products well before Thinks Natural. So I think to us it was a very obvious decision to manufacture our own products, and now doing it for a few years, I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, it's amazing. I call them my midnight ideas, where essentially when my mind's still racing before falling asleep, I have some crazy idea to do something, and the fact that I'm able to literally have it manufactured that week and by myself and my team is an experience that I think is unparalleled. And I know the problem with outsourcing, it's necessary for a lot of people. But the fact that I couldn't imagine a world where I didn't have that delicate oversight. But I also think 'cause our products are so natural and ingredient focused, but also maintaining that affordability for our clients is very, very integral to our business. So it would be very, very, as a micromanager myself, it would be very, very hard to release those reins to another.
So a follow-up question, how do you keep up with demand? Because again, we learned this week that there were 10 million videos on TikTok on Black Friday. So when you do a sale or Black Friday or the holidays, I mean, how do you keep up with that surge being self-manufactured? Is capacity an issue?
Yeah, not for us. I mean, thankfully, we're not just manufacturers for Thanks Naturals, we're manufacturers for behind the scenes, a lot of our other brands that my mom and I own, but also we private label and white label. So capacity, thankfully, we well prepare. We know these deals are coming up. We know when we sell best. That's always a good problem to have, though, right? If anything, I think it's been kind of a bittersweet moment with coming out of the tariffs and stuff because a lot of our retailers will call us last minute knowing we're the only ones that can fulfill last minute capacities and orders on a whim of a call. I can have that done within a few weeks. So it's kind of been, that was actually marked a very large growth period for us when the tariffs did happen. I know a lot of people struggled, but it allowed us to thrive fully already having our products made in the United States. And it's gone pretty great ever since. We adequately prepare. We know when the big TikTok sales are.
Right.
I can kind of have a sense when we have a lot of product or videos that are going to be made about us. So it's pretty much daily now. I wake up to about 50 videos a day of people organically posting us and tagging our products because we just are all in on TikTok and stuff. So, so far it's been great, and I would definitely would not have it any other way.
So are those people reaching out? Are those do you have an affiliate program then, or
So we send hundreds of affiliate samples a day, and we find great returns.
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So Harley, moving on to another part of the discussion, which may or may not apply to you and your firm. If you have ever raised money to build your current or a past venture, or if you're even thinking about it, what do you look for in an investor? What characteristics? We've had founders say, I know exactly what I'm doing. All I need is a check. Okay. Not many people are going to do that unless, they love you and they're a relative or something. And then we've had other people say, I want someone with a specific skill set or who has access to something I need,
Mhm.
i.e., they're an Amazon expert or they have a good connection into Target. So what do you think about if you have needed to raise money or if you have or if you may think about it down the line? What's on your mind about this?
Yeah, we have not needed to raise money, but I mean, that's a top common conversation either amongst my team or other founders in the space. And I think I always hear, I mean, you always hear it on Shark Tank and stuff. The hosts are like, I invest in founders I like, right? But I think that same attitude needs to be reciprocated, where if you are going to find an investor, I think there also needs to be some sort of rapport built there. Whether or not, like you said, I don't think everyone's just signing a blank check nowadays. I think there's a lot more involvement. So I think having that same intention and intentionality when picking investors is just as important. And I also would agree with the fact that you need to find someone who has skills that you may be lacking or that may, you don't want a bunch of people who are great at marketing, right? You need people who are you need a well-rounded team. So I think identifying your weaknesses, identifying honestly and candidly what you need help with, and finding an investor that can meet those difficulties is the best way to move forward from everyone that I've heard in my experiences.
Yeah, one of the other things we've heard about that can sometimes sneak up on an entrepreneur is not having alignment on the ultimate end goal up front because some people want to start a company and pass it off to their children in 30 years. But most investors are thinking of in a 3, 5, 7 year window where not only do they want their money back, they'd like more.
Yeah,
That's why they lent it to you. So having that clear demarcation of what the alignment is and the end goal of the firm is another important point
absolutely. It's a
we've heard.
marriage. It's a marriage. You got to be you have to be aligned, you know. It's not just a business contract. It's much more than that.
Exactly. All right,
Absolutely.
Tracy.
All right, so we're as Bruce says, rounding third and heading home here on our time together, Harley. So talk to us and tell us, our audience, about who's had the greatest influence on your career and why.
Yeah, I mean, I think on a personal level, of course, my mom, she
Yes.
was raised me as a single mom and did entrepreneurship on e-commerce to make ends meet. So I grew up, going home, going to school, coming home, packing boxes with her, and then starting homework. That was like my daily schedule my whole life. So I've been packing boxes, rushing to UPS to make online orders since I could walk. So that's very integral to me, of course. But on a more wide scale, I think one entrepreneur that's really I've looked up to for sure is Bethanny Frankle. I remember hers being the first products I saw in the grocery store of like a female founder who kind of had a face to the brand. That really inspired me, being like, hey, you can have a brand that's also very personal to the person. It's kind of her brand, Skinny Margarita and all that whole empire that she built. So that's someone on a wide scale we all may be more familiar with than my mom.
I don't know. Your mom might be really famous for all we know.
Yeah.
Well, we hear a lot of answers that are a mother, a father, a grandparent. So it seems that you serial entrepreneurs, there is something. We're gonna have to get do some sequencing on your genome and find out there's got to be something in there that keeps it going. All right, Harley, very important topic right now. Sadly, I fear the answer in advance. Who is your favorite sports team, band, or brand? I'm taking brand off the table. You just talked about a few. And why do you support them or follow them?
Oh my goodness. That I was gonna say the brand, the Gap's marketing campaign. I'm just so obsessed with. Sports team. I'm gonna say I went to SMU for undergrad, and we're finally good at sports again. So I'm gonna have to say SMU.
Okay, SMU, I was fearing you were going to go back to the fight on, and then
And then
I don't know what I would have done. No,
Yeah.
I didn't want to offend you, Bruce. I didn't want to offend you.
well, it's your show, Harley, but thank you so much. Hey, so Harley, thank you so much for your time. How can people get in touch with you or learn more about Thanks Naturals?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would highly encourage everyone to check out Thanks Naturals on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, of course. You can see me live or one of my amazing hosts that go live with me as well. That we are live all day, every day, but also just give us a follow and we can help you out with any products you may need. And of course, like LinkedIn, we're on everything. YouTube, we got it all. Thanks Naturals or Harley Sutton, you can find me there.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for your time. All right, Tracy, the big finish.
The big finish. Harley, you were awesome. Great insight. And it was great to talk to a brand founder specifically about TikTok and how you're using that. I think that's just, fantastic how you're doing that. So thank you so much for sharing your insights there. And audience, thanks for joining us today. Continue to follow us on our Spotify, Apple Podcast, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, also our website, www.road.retail.com. And we post every Tuesday. And again, thank you so much, Harley, for joining us. This was a great episode.
Thank you guys. Really
Good
appreciate
luck out there, folks.